Hey guys, what's going on? This is Dan Solitro with another edition of Solitro Reviews Albums here on To All the Crowded Rooms, and today we're going to be talking about Cost of Sacrifice, the first full-length record from Chamber. Now, I saw these guys open for Counterparts last year, you know, when shows can actually happen. And their performance was absolutely fantastic. Their presence in the venue was menacing and big, and for my first time really checking these guys out, my first real exposure, I was impressed and I really wanted more. The energy that they brought to that performance exactly matches the sound that they portray on their recordings. And I'm happy to say that their newest record, Cost of Sacrifice, shows that. So let's just get right into it. For those who may be unfamiliar, Chamber are actually a four-piece hardcore band from Nashville, Tennessee, who recently just signed to Pure Noise Records. These guys have been making waves since 2017 with a handful of releases, but when I first saw them, their EP, Ripping, Pulling, Tearing, was the first thing I've ever heard from them. And these guys have a very interesting sound that pulls in influence from metalcore, from mathcore, from grindcore, even throwing in some industrial elements in their music, which I think are a really cool touch for a sound that is just really bombastic and crazy and heavy and just all over the place. And I mean that and I mean that in the best possible way. I also wanted to point out that these guys are from the same scene as 30 Nights of Violence. It seems that bands from that scene are doing this early 2000s metalcore revival, and I'm all for it, honestly. I actually talked about 30 Nights of Violence in a previous review, so definitely check that out as well. When it comes to Chamber, these guys are very reminiscent of early 2000s metalcore. I mentioned that earlier when I was describing these guys, but their sound goes in different directions. Like I said before, there's a steady combination of metalcore, grindcore, industrial, and even mathcore, and the variety that these guys bring to the table is actually really awesome. Lately, we've been seeing artists like Vane, Code Orange, and Knock Loose bring back that OG metalcore sound, and Chamber seems like they've taken their influence from bands like Zao, Botch, even the Dillinger Escape Plan. And it's kind of wild to see how bands who sound so different from each other are able to be found in this band's album, and I really like that. Especially all the Zao influence. Nobody talks about that band enough, and we need more people talking about Zao. There's this one song on the album, Disassemble, Reassemble, that kind of reminds me of a darker mix of Dillinger and Nine Inch Nails, and it shows that these guys can kind of pull off this industrial sound very well, and it really works in their favor. Another track that actually stood out to me was Impulse, an instrumental track which best showcases the band's musical talent. The lead guitar has this really cool riff that kind of made me think of Converge, which I thought was really cool as well. And what I'm getting at is these guys pull influence from that era of hardcore. I'm into it, and they wear that on their sleeves, and they are damn proud of that. When it comes to lyrics, Chamber has some bleak lyrics to accompany their collection of hard-hitting, erratic, and fast-paced music. In their song "Numb Transfuse" showcases themes of loss and suffering. A line that stood out to me in that song was "Drain this blood from my veins. It carries resentment, remnants of the pain I felt, now calloused and cold, a shell of my former self." The theme of loss and suffering has been prevalent in metalcore for years, and Chamber has really just put their own bleak spin on it, and I'm all for this. Chamber recorded this album with producer Randy LeBeouf, who has worked with artists such as Counterparts and the Acacia String. If there is one thing that Randy has done with this record is that he brought a certain kind of ugliness to the album, but he makes it shine in his own way, if that makes any kind of sense. The drums are hard-hitting and sound absolutely insane. Guitar work goes from really technical, crazy, mathy riffs to these really heavy, almost knuckle-dragging caveman-style riffs, and Randy really just showcased in this album with this production what this band is all about. Chamber sound, in the way I can describe it, is ignorant, erratic, wild, and Randy perfectly showcased what these guys are about. Thank you, Randy. And that is it for Chamber. If you're interested in listening to Cost of Sacrifice, it is available on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever else you stream music. You can also pick up some merch from Pure Noise Records and also pick it up from them on their Bandcamp as well. And let me know your thoughts on this album in the comments below. Whether you liked it, you hated it, you thought it was okay, you hate my mustache and you want me to go completely clean shaven. I would love to hear what you have to say about the album. Also, make sure you like and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. This is Dan Solitro signing out.